Hello, welcome to day number 3. Just a few words before I actually start. We had a little change in who's presenting. So originally this track was planned that my former manager, Ebi Onifade, is doing this session, but unfortunately he had urgency with his family, needed to travel back earlier, so I'm taking care of the presentation and hopefully deliver as best as he would do. My name is Dennis Hofmeier. I'm also from AvePoint. You can also use my Twitter, dhofmeier. And today's topic is Office 365 or Windows Azure. Have it your way. So we are comparing both Office 365. We are comparing having all on-premises, on the other side, how Windows Azure can help you on certain scenarios. Before I really starting into it, we start with a
Today, people are more connected than ever before, through social networks, through the cloud, through mobile devices. The world has become a giant network, and every second, people are sharing, learning, and making decisions on the go. They're all part of one hyper-connected world. These are your customers. They expect faster responses, personalized service, better experiences. As a business, you have to always be listening to your customers. Anticipate trends, take action, and adapt quickly no matter what comes your way, so you can always stay one step ahead. You need the latest information at your fingertips to make fully informed decisions. And as a business, you can give your customers exactly what they want, when they want it. So they walk away with experiences as unique as they are. What if you were connected to everything important? What if you and every person in your company could work together like a network? Suddenly, you're plugged into everything that matters to your business. You're social and collaborating in new ways, exchanging ideas with people across the globe. You're always listening to your employees, customers, and partners. You spot new opportunities to adapt quickly and make change happen. You share documents and information in real time and make decisions faster than ever. When you're working together as one connected network, you can grow your business. You understand your customers, you build better products, and you deliver the best experiences. This is the power of a network. Now's the time to start working like one.
So what I wanted to say with this video that we have a lot of new challenges, but we will go into deep a little more in a few slides. That's me. So you can stalk me, find me anywhere. So the world is getting more mobile. So I've just recently looked up the actual number of mobile devices, which is 3.6 billion. They are increasing about, I think, 5% each year. So even networks like the IP stack is having problems to fit such a large numbers of connected devices worldwide. From the generation, now we're basically now 3 generations who are used to communication, to working mobile, having phones, getting connected through the internet. So even looking now at the younger next generation, they are again working differently like we have started. And so that we have different kind of challenges. And what kind of these challenges? So on the old world, we had typically long releases, long cycles. We have been used to that. A release was available like every 3 years. We had a new release. On the other side, now we're having quick releases. It's much more dynamic. Not even talking about the total data amount. not just hard disks are getting bigger and bigger and can store more data. We are producing more data. Storage is getting bigger. We have to handle all these data. So there are own tracks just about how to handle big data, how to do analysis, and all about that. In the old world, we had our classic desk, where the computer, we have gone in the office and working only there. If we have left the office, ideally 5 p.m., 6 p.m., then there was no work. The work was done, you're leaving the office. Today, I can't say when my day is really finished because I'm having my mobile in my hand. I'm going to bed with, I'm waking up with. Sometimes the first thing what I'm doing is checking emails. So, the way how we are working is shifting. Just from the pros perspective, in the old world, something happened, then we needed to react, like a problem which we needed to solve, a business problem, a business case. Today, even machine learning is helping to also recognize things before they actually happen and to solve problems before they occur. So that's, much more dynamic. And that's why I'm saying, shift is happening. And don't read it the wrong way. My colleague said, So personally, what does it mean for you and for me? And at the end, for the business? Hopefully you had a lot of good tracks the last days. So today being the last day, and who was working mobile during these days? Did someone didn't touch at all any work email or stuff like that? Okay, no hands. So that's definitely one way. So we are being mobile, and recently I had a webinar with Mickey Borrell, and that was very interesting because he was telling how our company is getting attractive for the youngest generation. They are used to mobile devices. So when they are applying to a company and they see, I do not even have like mobile email access, no web access or even mobile access, it's not attractive for me. And in a world where we do not have enough skilled people and companies are getting hard to find skilled people, probably you have been searching for SharePoint consultants, then you see that it's being a tough job. At the same time, IT is changing. So our role is changing from the classic IT. We are providing a service, we are doing the installation, stuff like that. We are doing it on our own, and then we are offering it to the business. And this is changing. It's getting so easy with Office 365 to get a service that even business users, managers can go to Office 365. Okay, let's create an account just for our business unit where we can go on and collaborate. It's that easy, and a lot of credit cards internally for business unit management, for instance, are available, and that's all what you need to register, and it only takes 5 minutes. And this increases other problems, because if you even want them to centrally manage all those services, it's incredibly impossible, more or less, and you will have the problem of a shadow IT, because there are services running in your company where you even are not aware of. The best example is Yammer. Yammer, you can just register with your company email address. There's the free version, and the IT didn't know it. And then when they are signing up, okay, we would like to use Yammer company-wide, then they see, there's already content in there, and it's not being managed. I'm sharing the slides afterwards, so you can also download them. And there's a Git article which is describing also the job roles and how they are changing. So basically, the classic relationship manager, account manager is doing different kind of tasks. The developer is shifting. The developer today needs also be an enterprise architect. Why? Because even an architecture starts at the very first step. So, do we use Windows Azure? Which platform should we use? Should it be compatible on premises only? Does it need to be cloud ready? That's all questions which is where you also need the help of a developer from an architect and consultant perspective. So personally, I'm consulting background, so I'm not a developer. I can't tell if this solution is written better on Azure, on Office 365, in an app using the app model, or in a classic traditional farm solution in a SharePoint world, which is not cloud ready. So there needs to be more communication, and we need to work tighter together. So how can we help you to identify which platform is matching the best for you? So I would like to go basically through 3 steps. First, identify, then let's have a look on how we can get there, and last but not least, to increase the adoption. And by the way, please stay until the end. I've also prepared a little questions for the end of this track, so I have some power banks and like some stress balls and so I'm asking you then also questions, and if you answered right, you will get some. So why should we consider cloud? So also Gartner did analysis that worldwide IT will spend less, 1.5% less money compared to the previous year, because they are switching to a software as a service model. And from the business user perspective, yeah, we are used to it, and it's much more transparent. Dan Home has it said the very first time, business matters, SharePoint doesn't. So as a very first rule, we need to help to solve business problems. And at the end, which kind of technology we are using, it doesn't care for the actual business. So if it's SharePoint, if it's Windows Azure, because development is easier, more flexible, whatever, there are different scenarios. SharePoint delivers you a lot of collaboration out of the box, where you can start working together on documents and stuff like that. Calculate classic on-premise against cloud, and don't compare just, oh, I've like user costs per month for licenses. On the other side, I've often heard that, oh yeah, my on-premise installation, it doesn't cost anything. It's hardware, it's there, it doesn't cost anything. Yeah, actually that's wrong. Not only the hardware costs, but also the service, the IT, the time we are spending on with installation, with configuring, like with patching, like with backup and recovery. So, and don't expect there might be a next version, so there might be a migration. Who's handling that in this case? Well, it's you. In cloud, it's handled by Microsoft, so you can sit back, relax, and care about other things which are important to you. At the same time, increasing the innovation. So while Microsoft is basically migrating, patching, having rapid release cycles, each few months you're getting new functionalities in there, that wouldn't be possible in such a speed when you are doing that on premise. It's extremely difficult. And at the end, if you have more time to spend to your actual tasks, to spend with your customers, then it's good for everyone.
Metro Bank is driving a revolution in banking. We aim to create fans, not customers. And we have a culture that's all about surprise and delight. We have lollipops, we print out debit cards on the spot, we welcome dogs through the store, we count coins for free. More important, we understand that we need to be there when our customers want us. So the fact that we open 7 days a week, the fact that we're open early and late, and the fact there's always somebody to talk to, we don't have machines answering the telephones. The customer understands that we're there for them. It was important to us that the journey for our colleagues be seamless. For them, it was really important that the technology they have in their hands at work matches up to the types of technology they're using at home. Originally, we chose Salesforce as our partner because we wanted something that was more Facebook. When we saw the Windows 8 interface and what's coming with Dynamics CRM, we decided that we wanted to go the Microsoft route. CRM is our customer platform. It was all about integration. Dynamics caps the stack, but behind the scenes, we make sure that Yammer drives the conversations within the business. We use SharePoint to drive our knowledge management systems. We use Link to surface the presence of our colleagues. Office 365 is the backbone for our office infrastructure, involving our customers in the process as well. We've started using NetBreeze from a social point of view to make sure that we respond to and engage with our customers and how they're feeling. We're opening more accounts and we're driving the effect that we're looking for, which is people recommending us to other people. That we're on the road to the point where the Microsoft technology and the Microsoft stack will become central to our amazing culture. We talk about revolutionized banking. We talk about creating fans, not customers. For us, the investment in Dynamics was all about bringing that promise to life.
Example of a case study, how to integrate everything. So how to get there? So further going on to the consideration if you should stay on premises or go into the cloud, whatever, Office 365, Azure. One disadvantage is when you are going to the cloud, you are giving away control. Because, it's not operated by you. On the other side, you have less work with operating that one, can concentrate on other things. On premises, well, of course, you have full control, you can do everything, but you also need to maintain everything. Like best examples, patching, migration, maintaining. Especially when we're talking about SharePoint, some customizations can only run on premises while others can run on SharePoint online. Let's have a quick look on the different kind of cloud services and which kind of models we and where they are fitting. So to further dip into them, first of all, we have the infrastructure as a service, so the very classic one, like Rackspace, like any other hosting, like also to systems. There are a lot of vendors where you can just order a server in the rack. They are the providers hosting everything up to like the virtualization, and you then have just remote access, and from the operating system, you are providing the services and need to maintain everything. Platform as a service, that's more Windows Azure. By the way, Windows Azure Infrastructure as a Service, since quite a long time already, it's also possible to host virtual machines in Windows Azure. So we already have infrastructure as a service in Azure as well. Platform as a service, that was the original Windows Azure, where developers could start it very quickly to develop their own solutions. They had like web service available, databases, redundancy across data centers. While last but not least, Office 365 is the classic software as a service, which is easy to use. I don't need to care about anything. I can directly start with the tasks I need to do. So what's offered by Microsoft and their cloud? So we all have Office 365, Microsoft Dynamics, Windows Intune for managing Windows mobile device management, and the whole Windows Azure platform. On the other side, you have the classic Windows System Center, Windows Server on the private world. So one thing is when we are working on premises, we have always a version. There can be also like a private cloud. Private cloud is typically nothing else than like the on-premises versions, just hosted by another vendor for you, which are also operating like the maintaining migration, backup and recovery, so like also just in a data center where you know where it's be. So why choosing Microsoft as a cloud provider? Well, they're having, rather than data centers all across all over the world, massive bandwidth and connections. They have also, I think Azure Express Route is now officially available, so it has been announced quite a long time, which is basically from your ISV a direct connection to the Microsoft data center to minimize all the latency and hops to Microsoft services. Because that's, of course, important when you are accessing cloud. It's all about bandwidth and latency. They are innovative in terms of security. It can be two-factor authentication. Compliance is going to the next step where I can really identify content which shouldn't be stored in cloud. And I come to that point later, but we can think also in hybrid scenarios where we say, okay, maybe we start with cloud first for an extranet scenario where we are sharing data with business partners, but only not confidential content. So we use compliance to detect it. And of course, it's highly automated. Microsoft's strategy, mobile first, cloud first. So we will ensure that we will deliver, or Microsoft will deliver the best experience on mobile devices. Mobile devices are increasing at the same time, so it's the best win for all of us. So having a quick look on Windows Azure, and when it does make sense in terms of moving your assume SharePoint, which you're currently hosting on premises, and now we have the question Office 365 or hosting it in the traditional way in Windows Azure and just move like the virtual machine which we're already running SharePoint on. So we can, using Windows Azure, we have all the benefits. If we just go 2 slides back, what Microsoft is offering. Also about all the certifications, all the data center have a lot of certifications and are highly secured. It's very hard for a typical company to apply all these certifications Microsoft has. So they are one of the very first ones applying all of these. Another reasons are customizations. So there's still a need that you run your full trust code, but you can't in Office 365. So why not signing up and creating virtual machines in Windows Azure? Another reason is that later on a migration can be quicker from moving data from which is already in the data center of Microsoft to other servers in the same data center of Microsoft. So it can be also an intermediate step. It's working the best when you're already using Hyper-V on premises, so you can just move it directly into the cloud, same images. A very similar service like Windows Azure, Amazon Web Services, so they are really competing against each other. And looking at Office 365, so which services are we getting? So I was just talking about SharePoint Online. We are also on SharePoint Conference, but Exchange is also one of the very popular topics. Skype, OneDrive for Business, you're getting 1 terabyte or even unlimited storage for free for each user. Well, not for free, but it's included in the same licenses. So that's also the stage where hybrid scenarios make sense. And as you see that in the next release of, or already possible of the 2013 release, but Microsoft is enhancing the hybrid scenarios of SharePoint 2016. So even still today, we can set up SharePoint in a way that just the OneDrive is being put into the cloud. And imagine that if you're having like 10,000 users and providing 1 terabyte for each of those 10,000 users, it's incredibly high storage. So that's a cool scenario where you can start for hybrid. Some functionalities are only available online. Delph, for instance, YAML. So even today, it's much more quicker we are in a hybrid scenario than we probably think that we are. One of the disadvantages, again, highly customizable like farm solutions. You can sign up like in 5 minutes. That's one of the high advantages. Of course, to have it in a managed way, and it needs some additional steps, like, okay, we're adding domain, email routing, so there might be also, again, pretty fast a hybrid scenario. But generally, configuration is so easy that it can be done by a manager who's not very deep into IT. I think that they are green, 99.9, but actually they measured they are at a 99 right now, so much more reliable than some other on-premises systems. And of course, working from anywhere, so we have highly available data centers. So let's say when we are getting and planning to start with Office 365, just a few things that I recommend. So one of our, choose an enterprise plan, because only the enterprise plans also allow connecting with your local Active Directory using Azure or desync. There are other plans available like Business Kiosk or even private. I've included the hyperlink to compare all these plans, so that gives you a very good idea on which plan is the best for you. And finally, it's possible to register a 30 days trial for 25 users, so they get started quickly. So which scenario is the best to start with? So we all have on-premises environments. Typically, is someone all in? Yeah, you? One person, cool. You will get one later. So hybrid scenario is one of the things which is very, very popular to start with. And if we are thinking about, if we are planning to do so, what's the best scenario? Is anyone using like extranet where you have a DM set and an own SharePoint just of sharing documents with external partners? 1, 2, extranet portal, 5, 6, 7 people. So that is typically a very good example to start with. Why? Because you have like extra hardware, like providing DM set, switches, servers, even virtualized, but it's consuming resources. You have probably our own Active Directory, user management, so there's a lot of administrative overhead you have. And because you're typically sharing data, it's not the highly confidential data. So saying this is a very, very good candidate to move that service into the cloud, into Office 365. You have out of the box separate user management. So just create a new user, which could be an external partner, let him sign on and access the data. And even there's a lot of more external sharing capabilities, so it's just sharing functionality is a lot easier in here. To give you an example, which is very extremely, is from the educational perspective. So if you have a university where you have a high number of onboarding users, each year, you have like 1,000 users which you need to create. You're not sure if they are using the service or not, or how deep they are using it. So, but they need to have an account. They are exchanging documents with teachers and forth and back. And finally, they are gone very quickly afterwards, so after a specified period of time. Maybe you still require to retain data, like if they have any financial information, so combining this with a record management. Let's have a look at the planning phase of information architecture. So from the administration point of view, that's I think it's fine for the moment. Let's concentrate on governance and compliance. So, and don't forget the focus. So don't over-administrate your SharePoint or your Office 365 or the service you're offering. It helps on how you are working. Have a look at the business processes. Where are the pain points? What is difficult to get? Like, is it difficult to exchange data? What are the pain points? Find that first and address this first. So it's also Nicky Burrell said that there's like a 80-20 rule. So it's very you reach like 80% of a project in a much quicker time, and for the last 20% it's consuming the most time of the project. So that's why concentrating on the key points is a very good way. When talking about compliance, which kind of regulations you need to meet, that's something a business user doesn't really care about, so it needs to be transparent. Combine it with content types, like if the user is creating an invoice, okay, then it's a 10 years validity on a record will be handled in the background. From the security perspective, I've found a very good statistic on which kind of security leaks we have found, like on service providers compared to on-premises. So the interesting one is, even if we don't compare the actual attacks uniquely, but on-premises has generally more attacks and more vulnerability than the cloud environment. And why is this? One of the reasons is this, of course, Office and Microsoft have dedicated personnel helping to mitigate those risks. They have other hardware, they have other security standards. They are really doing security tests and penetration tests, which is very, very rare on-premise environments. So there are, some companies are doing that, so that's fine, but mostly it's not. Confidential and compliance issues are typically not an issue as long as nothing happens. But the first time there's a data incident, like a data breach, something got lost, something got on public, then typically you have a real problem. So in Germany, for instance, if you lose data sets, based on the number of data sets, you need to pay more or less small or huge site in the newspaper or in the common newspapers. So it costs money, it decreases reputation, and it's compliance is a way of risk management. What kind of services or which data would I like to store in my service, and which is like highly confidential and maybe combined with additional security. Think about two-factor authentication. I have a high secure environment where I'm not allowed to log on mobile, or when I'm doing, I need a second factor like my mobile device, so to double authenticate. And compliance in Office 365, it's not all about the standards and the certifications they're meeting. It's the rules you can apply to the content, and which is very transparent, and you can combine it with Exchange. So it doesn't matter if I try to store the top secret document and put it into SharePoint. In the background, it will inspecting the document. Or is there something like a top secret string in the footer or somewhere in the document? And if I find this, the user will get an error message and warn, hey, take care, you're trying to store a top secret document basically in a portal where external partners have access to. So that's the idea behind. The same when you're trying to send it by email, you will get the same, and it won't send the email. And yeah, that's the idea behind. And an important point to know about this one is that like the most attacks and the most data breaches are accidentally. So like when I'm a hacker, it's like maybe like the 3% of data breaches, then I will get the data anyway. And if I have the confidential information and just here on my screen, in the worst case, I just take a picture. That's it. Whatever rules are behind that, but compliance is really risk management. So accidentally storing a document at a location where it shouldn't be. On the other side, from an administration point of view, we would somehow manage those services for our customers or for our business units. So how much should we manage and what should we manage exactly? So I've just an example of a few templates and how much control we are needed. So one good idea, and something what we have seen quite a lot of times, when you just allow the business user to create sites and subsites like unlimited, I've seen like horrible deep structures. And one customer, it was not that deep, but it was the very bad example of having this. It was like, I have a subsite beyond the site collection. There's just one list, 2 documents in there. Underneath, I have a new subsite, 1 list, or 1 library, 2 documents. Underneath, again and again. So it was like about 4 or 5 levels, and only in total, it may have been 10 documents. So it's incredibly impossible or difficult to find the information you need with just a few clicks. That's where it makes sense to think about what should we provide from an administration point of view, and where should we govern, so we should apply rules to our business users. And a rule could be something like structure. Yeah, everybody is allowed to provision its site. That's okay. That's something which we would like to achieve, a self-service portal where the user gets his service, but not in an unstructured way. We would at least have a little structure for this. And some other examples, taxonomy. It's a long discussion about taxonomy, how many fields and also must fields do we have, and the user needs to fill in before saving the document, which is then typically annoying. If he has like 15 fields he needs to pull in before storing the document. What happens typically, he uses another service because it's too difficult. So that's something which, yeah, we need taxonomy. That's also a good thing, which we can also combine with the search refinement to better find documents. On the other side, it mustn't be too much. To give you another idea of just where we can find configuration. So if we're having a look at a typical SharePoint structure, of course we have a form which is provided by a service provider or by Office 365, whatever, web application, same. So already at this very top level we have a bunch of settings, and this can be handled pretty good using a lot of scripts, and I think I don't need to tell you that. So governance for end users really starts at the site collection level. So let's define how the naming should be, how how many subsets should be created, which kind of lists libraries should have been created, like a naming, like a consistent naming, like that like from a service perspective, the user sees, okay, I can request a business unit side, or can I request a collaboration space for whatever reason. So 2 templates, and they're all looking all the same. So that's giving also the user the same end user experience over and over again. Yeah, and having all these settings everywhere. And as mentioned previously, the very good first example to start with is the external scenario, which we could then just put in the cloud, while on the other side, your classic internet collaboration space can be still on premises, where you still have your existing structure. Don't over-governance or govern your SharePoint, so have limits in mind. Also, it needs to have some flexibility, so just showing some of these examples of typical applications which you can have in SharePoint, like you can have an extranet team collaboration space, social, like a community site, like a classic forum, the intranet where applications or just content provided like by marketing and by some business units are provided on a regular basis. And we typically also find always like an application area, or it can be a web application or just a few site collections where you're providing like line of business applications, either developed by yourself or which is using Power BI. So connecting all different other systems into SharePoint so that the total overall amount of systems the user needs to interact with is getting reduced, and getting SharePoint as the primary system. So where does the user start with when he goes into the office in the morning? It should be SharePoint because everything is there. How to get the content in there. So it can be just, let's say, if you have ideally like an extranet scenario starting from scratch, okay, that's perfect world. We can just start with the new content storing it there. But typically we have not this case. So typically we have some existing data we need to get into this. So one of the scenarios is you can just say, here, business user, it's up to you which data should be copied across. It can be done by drag and drop. There are also third-party solutions available. iFPON is also offering a migration, so to make it easy for you to get the data into the system. During the phase where you are having like this migration or this change happening, because the people don't like changes, we need to support them the best way. And also if you're just working from an IT perspective, it typically is not a good access rate. So we really need also to have the management in our background that they're saying, okay, that it should be clearly communicated from the management that they're saying, yeah, we are changing the way, like we are sharing data with our business partners. It should not happen through Dropbox or through our existing extranets. We are changing it to Office 365 because you will get these advantages, like easier sharing or like sharing capability of Office 365 or like Office Web App View, easier management and getting the business partner onboarded. So saying the users getting created, having a self-service portal in place. Finally, can we increase the adoption for? So the impact which we are doing for existing services like downtime should be put to a minimum. we need to have people from the business stakeholders which are staying behind us, which are liking technology, which are going through you through a beta phase or through a pilot phase. They can also help other people to convince that job, what you're doing, is a good job. Promotion internally, so I've seen also companies which are really having a huge, massive internal campaign where they've also like printed like prints on the entrance, like on in the kitchen, so they see, okay, there's this change coming. We are going social, for instance. Please do this and this. Provide them resources. So it can be training, but a lot of stuff is very intuitive. But of course, some users, especially older people, are not that used to like hashtags or like to social media like Facebook, Yammer. That's more from a business process perspective, where then users needs to be trained, and also that when we are working with SharePoint, it's easier to find content. We have a really extensible search, so I like to compare it with Google because it's the first capability to find content in the company, and that's something which it's really easy to sell this additional functionalities to the business. Business culture. So, we're coming to the end. So let's say to start with, identifies the pain points. So what's really painful at the moment could be like the expenses. It could be like sharing, like getting a service. Most companies are going through a help desk portal where they say, I need some kind of collaboration, assuming that they already know that there's this service available. So that could be one pain point, and address them first, because you have the biggest win-win situation with these. Also, again, concentrate on the first of the 80% of the functionality, to reach them first, and then afterwards to the rest of the 20, because that's typically quite complicated. The support is best through different channels, IT, communities, so like when we are other people meeting each other, or just a community or a Yammer group where business users can exchange by themselves. Self-service portal where they can just order, I would like to have that service. All right. Saying finally that the change is there, it's happening, and I can just encourage you to also consider all these different functionalities and architectural perspectives. Concentrate on your business, and then identify which technology is fitting the best way for you. So I've a few questions now prepared. So. And a few power banks. So, number one question, is Office 365, is it infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service? Who has the answer? Yeah, exactly. Second point, how many mobile devices do we use worldwide? That was big. Yeah, exactly. 3.6. Unfortunately, it was 2.6. What was that? No, And last one. Which scenario or one is destiny you're planning to do the first statistics are?
Israel.
Yeah. So finally, a few hearts have been left. If you would like to, you can come to our booth. I have another power bank available. And also, I would encourage you, we are doing like a raffle at 1 o'clock for our phone. Yeah. So, finally, do you have any questions for me? I was asking already. No questions? Okay, finally, a few other resources Ebionifade has collected, which is worth to follow, and the hyperlinks, blogs are in the show notes, so I will make the slides available to download, so just follow me on Twitter or Facebook, so you will get the hyperlink just in a few minutes. Last but not least, if you need more information about AvePoint and what we are offering, so we have like a bunch of products available, around 40 products. You can visit our website, and you can also, of course, contact me directly. We have a booth available, so again, the raffle will be at 1 o'clock, and now it's 10 minutes before our end. Lunch is getting ready, so I would say thank you for your patience and for being here the very last day, and I wish you a very good remaining day, and goodbye.